a story because I think it's going to happen to me next, so I'm one of my other best friends.
On Friday, it happened to one of her friends. 11-year-old Tiffany Moore was sitting on a mailbox on Humboldt Avenue chatting with neighbors. Suddenly, shots rang out from a passing car, and Tiffany was dead, the unintended victim of a war between two drug gangs. What do you think caused it?
It was like somebody told me that some boy come on Cascade Street and started messing with the Cascade boys, and then they came back over here and they were shooting at this one boy, and she was there, and she was there at the wrong time.
What does that make you feel like happening in your own neighborhood?
I feel like I don't want to even come to the store for my mother no more.
I was going to get shot next, because sometimes I sit on the mailbox when I'm over here.
Roxbury's children are scared, and so are their parents. Today, they went to City Hall to ask for more protection.
I'm not only feeling trapped, I'm a pretty gutsy lady. I'm feeling frightened.
What is going on in this city, and particularly in District B, is open warfare.
We pay our taxes, we do our work, we send our kids to school. Now we're demanding equal protection under the law.
In response, the city now has 40 extra policemen patrolling Humboldt Avenue. And although there have been no arrests yet, Mayor Flynn has pledged an all-out investigation.
We just got some more information in the meeting with the mayor today from the community. So the community's come out very well on it, and we expect something to break in that very shortly.
Do you have suspects, definite suspects?
Well, we're looking at some people.
According to law enforcement officials, Roxbury is experiencing the worst violence in 20 years.
They have become as one. Drugs equal violence. That's absolutely clear to all of us.
Police Commissioner Roach joined U.S. Senator John Kerry in Roxbury today. After talking with residents familiar with the local drug problem, Kerry used the occasion to criticize the Reagan administration.
That's not a war on drugs, that's a disgrace. If you can't stop a General Noriega and you're not willing to say no to him, how do you ask kids in this community to say no to drugs? If your own policy is hypocritical as well as ineffective, you are contributing to the drug problem.
Roxbury residents, enraged by this weekend's violence, called for drastic action to reclaim their streets. Some suggested a no-exceptions curfew and night court sessions. Others wanted to call out the National Guard. But Commissioner Roach and Senator Kerry said that was not the solution.
You have all kinds of problems in using the National Guard in that kind of instance, and it isn't going to solve the problem of an already overcrowded prison, or it isn't going to solve the problem of an education system that isn't dealing with it. The National Guard isn't going to provide treatment, and they aren't going to find treatment centers that don't exist. So unless we deal with these other issues, we're really not dealing with the problem.
But Roxbury residents want increased aid on all levels.
The way the media uses Roxbury is to say unworthy. And it's only an occasional block here or there. But when the media
Elma Lewis lives on the same street where Tiffany Moore was gunned down last weekend. But Homestead is a long street, and Roxbury, says Lewis, is a better community than captured by television cameras. Drug warriors are the exception, not the rule in Roxbury. And though Tiffany was killed by criminals, Lewis also blames poor federal and local policies. Part of the problem, she says, is federal housing requirements that create crowded and hostile conditions.
Well, the whole point to Section 8 was to break up any concept of housing project and to disseminate people throughout all areas, not to concentrate them and make new projects. The result has been new projects.
Lewis also criticizes poor police performance.
Now, every child knows where drugs are. So it's remarkable to me that somebody has to keep telling the authorities where the drugs are.
But she is equally hard on her own community.
The other part of the equation is that people like me have to refuse to allow certain chaos on their blocks. And I will harass all city authorities as well as the people who are making the confusion until they are tired of me and stop doing it. A community has to set its own standards. The police can't do that. By the time you get to the place where criminals are shooting, that's too late. It starts with loud noises, fast automobiles, yelling. It starts with being out of control.
Still, Lewis is optimistic, not because of the politicians who put extra police out on patrol, but because of the people who live here.
I'm not going to live like that, and I'm not going to get up and run. That's the easy way out. I then have to run every 20 years, but you can live at Concord or Lexington and look at where the country began while I run vigorously every 10 or 15 years. That isn't suitable. That isn't suitable. I don't know how to inspire young people who are black if every time something becomes black, you have to get up and run away from it. No, it's your obligation to stay there and make it work.
Extra police and television cameras may have pushed the pushers off Humboldt Avenue for now, but they worry about what will happen after Tiffany's killer is caught.
Roxbury leaders met behind closed doors today to begin work on a plan to deal with the growing problem of gang violence that has gripped their community. Violence that has claimed 2 young lives in less than 2 weeks. On Friday night, August 19th, 11-year-old Darlene Tiffany Moore was gunned down in the crossfire between 2 warring drug gangs. This past weekend, witnesses say 14-year-old Richard Bailey was stabbed to death by a rival gang member because of a turf dispute. The stabbing happened Saturday night. A group of boys ran from over in this area. They chased the victim. He was one of several people who tried to get away. He just didn't get away fast enough. They slammed him against the car, witnesses say, and they stabbed him, and he fell right here. In response to tips from people in the neighborhood fed up with the violence, police arrested 4 suspects in connection with the Bailey murder case. They were arraigned today in Roxbury District Court.
I don't feel that the government is going to have any case against my client whatsoever.
Among those arraigned today were a 14-year-old juvenile whose name police will not disclose, 18-year-old Shango Dilday, the son of Clarence Dilday, a prominent Roxbury businessman, 17-year-old Demetrius Dunstan, and 18-year-old Emmett Snow, who police believe may have done the stabbing.
We came down here voluntarily. We knew that his name had been mentioned, and we voluntarily brought him down here today to straighten the situation out.
Class A substance with intent to distribute, both one and 3 is not guilty on this matter. Be with this man.
Not guilty, no. My name is Sean Drumgo. He was trying to tell me my name was David Joyce.
This morning, police also arrested one of the 2 suspects they were looking for in connection with the shooting of Tiffany Moore. 23-year-old Sean Drumgold was nabbed in Roxbury District Court, where he was being arraigned on a heroin distribution charge. Again, police credit the community for aiding in his arrest.
I was out there again last Thursday and Friday and Sunday, and every person I talked to would do anything to help us out, including testify. In fact, we did receive some information which is being evaluated.
We're going to see an end to this soon? I mean, are people going to realize that this is not a smart thing to do?
I doubt if we're going to see an end to it, because I feel that this will happen is like the beginning.
The meeting of community leaders in Roxbury this afternoon is a sign that they see a need to take things into their own hands. And although it may take time to work out the specifics, their goal is clear.
The message that we want to go out to our community is that we love our children, that we love our community. We are going to make this community a better community, and we're going to rid the negative element out of this community.
As far as Deputy Superintendent William Celester is concerned, the men and women officers in his division are at war with dope addicts and gang members who terrorize the streets of Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan.
We have to realize that it is a war out there. Whether people choose to say it's a war or not, it's a war. It's a war on who's going to run this community. Are we going to let these thugs run this community, or are we going to run this community?
Last year, it seemed Celester and the officers of Area B were under fire no matter what they did. They were criticized by some for not doing enough to control neighborhood violence, and they were criticized by others for perhaps going too far. The Get Tough policy of randomly stopping and searching people was the most controversial of the department's tactics.
You know, some people need to be scared, because some people, that's the only thing they understand.
Obviously, the old tactics do not work, and it's time for us to move to some new tactics.
This year, community activists such as Graylin Ellis Hagler of the Church of the United Community want the police to consider ways to prevent young people from getting involved with drugs and gangs in the first place. He proposes rookie cops be assigned to interact with young people in a mentor relationship.
The average police officer that I run into and work with are really and truly concerned about the community, and in some ways feel frustrated. I think also some of them I've talked to privately, secretly know and feel that these tactics that have been used and utilized have not worked and will never work, and that it's time for some type of innovative plan.
But Deputy Superintendent Celester says police should not be expected to act as social workers.
I don't think the police can do it. I think there are other agencies that are better equipped to do that. I think the police have to have the sense of the community within them. They have to care about that community. But there's only so many hats that the police can wear.
In cities like Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., police are taking the call for prevention more seriously. Police are teaching school children how to resist drugs. The results can't be measured as quickly as a drug raid or a gang bust, but there is hope that over time, prevention will prove to be an effective weapon in the war against drugs and gang violence. For the 10 o'clock news, I'm Marcus Jones.
That little call you get, I did. I made up my mind that's something, because that's the type of thing you want to have. So I think that's the way we'll do it. No, I can tell just from the way you handle yourself that that's the way you want it. You're finally figuring that out, huh? Mm-hmm. And the attorney there, Judy. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, okay. Okay. I'm doing an interview right now. All right? Well, so you like the message, though, huh? To get something in Friday. You weren't home. I called your house. You weren't there. Well, you didn't answer the phone. I left a message on your phone. Yes, I did. You had called here, and I told Norman to tell you I'd have to call you back. Well, he never gave it to me. Yeah. He never gave it to me. All right.
All you gotta do is I'm gonna call and check on these, and then we'll probably send the card there. Right underneath the house of D, right? On the house of D in the back door? Okay. All right.